Hey, what's up everyone? Lex here, and I've got a new Stuffs video for you. Got a good amount of stuff from stores, thrift stores, yard sales. Actually, I don't think I have anything from yard sales, but have some donations and all that good stuff to the collection. First and foremost, I'm going to start with the figures. The wrestling figures I'm going to open in a separate video and kind of do a quick review of them, but I'm going to show them here just to say, you know, this is something I picked up over the past few months. So first we have another Sasha Banks here. Now if cat hair all over these. If you remember in my figures video, I got Sasha already, opened her. I saw her at, I went to Toys R Us, which Toys R Us is not in my town, and it's about an hour away, so I rarely ever go there. So I decided, you know what, I'm gonna go there, check their figures selection out, and they had actually, like, they just got restocked. So I went at the perfect time, and they had Sasha there, so I decided to grab a Sasha and maybe do a repaint on her. I've never done figure painting before, but I figured maybe I could do a video out of that, just kind of my first time trying to paint these figures. But Sasha, so this next one I actually had the intentions of finding, or hope of finding, and I did. It's the WWE Network Spotlight Shawn Michaels, complete with orange ladder, which is awesome. This is from SummerSlam 1995. So, you know, the attire is actually pretty cool. Obviously, the worst thing about this figure is the head scan. Or the sculpt, it's terrible. It's pretty bad. Yeah, but this is not a review, so I'll wait to review it when I open it. So next, they had this left over. This is a Toys R Us exclusive, I believe. Daniel Bryan from WrestleMania 30. With both the World Heavyweight Championship and the WWE Championship. I got this because I don't have a long hair, long beard Daniel Bryan. I have two other Daniel Bryans from Mattel. One is a basic and the other one is his Elite that came with the US title. So I figured I'd get this one too. I like the World Heavyweight title in this. It's really shiny, substantial size, and I didn't have one of these WWE Championships yet. So this was a great pickup right here. Very surprised they had it. Very cool nonetheless. Alright, so next up, another figure that I actually went to Toys R Us hoping to find. It's the Sting from the Great American Bash 1990 when he fought Ric Flair for the world title. And there's definitely some controversy with this figure. Number one, the boots on this figure, the correct boots are just, there's no laces and stuff like that, it's just boot. But they did make another one that actually had laces on the boots. So there's two different versions of this figure, and I got the correct one. Also, the face sculpt is questionable at best. Again, we'll review it some other time and get into it then. And then this one, I've actually been wanting for a while, and I've had opportunities to pick it up, but I've passed it up for whatever reason. And I saw it at Target, and I had to finally jump on it. It's the Crow Sting with the baseball bat and the jacket. Just this Sting is iconic from when I started watching wrestling back in 1996, 97. It just, this to me is Sting. Not the Great American Bash Sting. That was way before my time. But this one definitely connects with me. Also, it looks really cool. I mean, this is a really good looking figure too. So I will be opening these and reviewing them in a separate video, so you know, look out for that hopefully very soon. Alright, so next up we have some Barnes & Noble purchases. So I've been kind of on this Japanese kick, and I've been looking to sort of get into some manga, and so I decided to try this, and it's Death Note. This is a black edition. This is the first one. I bought this from Barnes & Noble and read it and enjoyed it, so I went ahead and went over to Amazon and bought the second one as well, and still enjoying it, so I'm going to go ahead and buy the third one. I'm about halfway through the second volume. My wife is also reading it, and she enjoys it as well, so she is not really into Japanese culture or manga. She doesn't like the animation style of that anime, of manga, or any of those movies. She doesn't like it, so the fact that she enjoys it too is kind of interesting, kind of exciting. This was also a Barnes & Noble purchase. It's the Fox Mulder Pop that I needed to complete my X-Files collection. I have Scully, Cigarette Smoking Man, and the Alien over there as well. So I've been looking for him for a while. I know I can get him online for cheap, but I like to buy my figures and pops in person because I don't know if they're going to be banged up or not. And every Fox that I found was like smashed in, like the sides were all smashed in. So this one was in good shape. Told him, let me have that. And what's funny is it took me so long to find him in good shape, and just this past weekend at a toy store I found him again in great shape. So unfortunately I had to wait a while, but no big deal. Okay, so in my town we have a couple of thrift stores. This one buys storage sheds and liquidates them. I always tend to go for the stores that don't look up eBay prices and try to price that way. I really can't stand stores that do that. I would think if I had a store, I would price it below eBay so that I can move the merchandise and actually make money to stay in business. But some people in this town in particular, they like to charge the highest they can charge for their games, and they're stubborn. They don't care if they hang on to them for years. They just will not let them go. So this store had a couple of games. They charge $5 per PS3 game, $2 per PS2 and Xbox game, and same for the PC games. So what I found was this is a Madden 08 case, but it actually had Madden 07 in it, and Madden 07 is like my favorite football game of all time, so I decided to pick it up and try it on PC, and it's different from the Xbox version. And at first I thought it was much better than the Xbox version, but as I play it more and more, I find that there are some things that I don't like about it, but still great game, and the graphics look fantastic on my PC over there, which is probably way overpowered for this game. This game I didn't know a whole lot about, but I decided to pick it up anyway because I don't see it ever. It's Death by Degrees. Tekken's Nina Williams in Death by Degrees, and it's supposed to come with a Tekken demo disc, but it doesn't have it. It just has the game right here, which is fine. I don't mind. But this was in really good shape, complete for $2. I think it's like a $7 game, so I figured I'd scoop it up and try it. Got Madden 08 on Xbox. And that's of course complete. I am a sucker for football games, so if I don't have it, I'm likely going to pick it up, especially if it's $2. It's whatever. But yeah, I have never played Madden 08 on the Xbox before. I played it on the PlayStation 2, so I'm very interested to see how this compares to Madden 07, my beloved Madden 07. And then right here, finally, Metal Gear Solid 4. Okay, so I have Metal Gear Solid 1, 2, 3. Oh, do I have 2? I don't think I have 2 anymore. I think I still need to get 2, which isn't a big deal because I can find it everywhere. But I have 1, I have 3, I'm pretty sure. Maybe I don't even have 3 anymore. I have no idea. I gotta go through my games and kind of inventory them again. I've got so many games. But now I have Metal Gear Solid 4. I refuse to play Metal Gear Solid 5 without running through all the other ones first. I've beaten the second game. I've never beaten the first or the third. Came close with the third, very close. But yeah, number 4 I've never played at all. So I figured I'll grab this and eventually work my way through them. I have Ground Zeroes on the PC because it was super cheap. I decided to buy it, but yeah, I need to get on some Metal Gear. Maybe this winter, I don't know. Alright, and then finally they had these 3 Game Boy Advance SP systems for $10 each. They did not come with chargers. The chargers I had to buy off Amazon, the cheap little chargers, but they work. I probably plan on keeping the black one for personal use. I'm not 100% sure. I want an AGS 101 because of the better lighting. But basically I just bought these to kind of see if anybody wanted them and, you know, make some more money to buy some more games. But $10 a pop, it's not bad at all. And they all work. I charged them all up, they all work, and it's a pretty good deal. Okay, so we also have this place here in Red Bluff that is an estate sale place. So they have their own location, their own warehouse, and they run estate sales for people where they actually come and get the stuff and bring it back to their warehouse and people just walk through. Seems like they get a fair amount of people every single week, and I usually pop my head in there every Friday just to see what they have. And boy, I'm glad I did this Friday. Usually they don't have much, but the cool thing about this place is they sell all of their games for $1 each, no matter what it is. It's just thrown on the shelf for $1 each. And so one thing that I don't have up here, but you guys don't really need to see it, I have a Sega Genesis controller that I bought from there for $1. Yeah, if you can get a Sega Genesis controller for $1, definitely do so. So here are the games that I got from this place. I paid $18, no, I paid $20 in total for everything I got. So we have Diablo for PlayStation 1, which I was very excited to get because I've never played Diablo before. And I actually tried this out, and I think it's pretty cool, but I'm probably not going to keep this one. It's just not something nostalgic for me, so I'll probably get rid of it, but very cool to find. And I do plan on picking Diablo up on PC at some point and playing through it there. It seems much better on the PC. It was a little difficult to control on the PlayStation, but this is actually complete. And there's a price sticker from Game Exchange for $14.95. That's what they were selling this for. I think this goes for like $45 right now. Complete there. And then what's funny is I always like seeing this. It's gonna be hard to see, but there's a sticker there of the store that it came from, Game Exchange of St. Louis. We are a long way away from St. Louis, so very cool that games can kind of make their way over here. Then we have PlayStation Underground demo disc, 2 discs in here. I picked this up because demo discs were a big part of my childhood. I didn't have very many games, but I think this was with everybody, like especially in the PlayStation era. You got demo discs. That's what you did. You got demo discs, and you played the heck out of them, and that's how you found out about new games too. So had to pick that up. Next we have Test Drive Off-Road, Greatest Hits. Everything is in there. Test Drive 5. This is Test Drive 4, but Test Drive 5 was a game that I owned for PlayStation and I played a ton of. I'll talk more about that in my PlayStation video when I finally get around to talking about that system. Next we have Casper, Greatest Hits. There we go. Never played this game before. When I was a kid, I was a big fan of the movie, so it'd be pretty interesting to play this. It looks like, wow, the shots on the back are so dark I can't even see what they are. Yeah, it looks like maybe a side-scrolling platformer? I don't know. Next up we have a Greatest Hits copy of Crash Warped. and a little stuck down there, but there we go. It's also complete. Crash Warped, I've never played, I don't think. Maybe I have played it. No, I've played Crash Warped. Yeah. But Crash Bandicoot 2 was my game for PlayStation. It's the first game I had with my PlayStation, and I played Crash 2 so much. I didn't really much care for Crash 1. It was okay. But Crash 2 got so much play in my house. I play that game over and over and over again. It's a lot of fun, and yeah, can't wait to talk more about Crash Bandicoot 2. This was interesting. It says Silent Hill demo disc, and from what I understand, this is actually pretty rare. There's a couple of Silent Hill demo discs, but this one that came in this sleeve and looks like this is supposedly pretty rare. So there's probably not a lot of demo disc collectors out there, but if you're a PlayStation collector, this probably is something that you'd want. Now, I'm not a big fan of Silent Hill, so I'll probably be getting rid of this one as well. We'll have to wait and see, I guess. With PlayStation, I don't want to collect every single thing. I do love PlayStation, but I know I don't have the room to just collect every single thing. I'm going for a complete NES collection right now, pointing off to my NES collection. So I don't know if I have the room to do that, but we'll see. Even still, Silent Hill demo disc probably just doesn't mean a whole lot to me. So, but a very cool find. Okay, next up is a game that actually does mean a whole lot to me, and it's Croc, Legend of the, we called it Gobos, but maybe it's Gabos? Yabos? Anyway, Croc, Legend of the Gobos, complete. This is a 3D platforming game. So when Mario 64 came out, then you got a rash of 3D games and a lot of generic, characters. This came out in '97 though, not too far off from Mario 64. And this was one of the games I had for PlayStation as a kid, and we played it a ton, and we loved it. And it's weird because I'm sure not a whole lot of people know about Croc, although maybe this is a greatest hits. This copy isn't, but I think this made it to greatest hits maybe. But I think it was sold for cheap, and probably a lot of people just picked it up for whatever reason. It's not great, and I'm not a huge fan of 3D platformers myself, but it actually is pretty cool. It's a lot better than you'd think. Alright, next up is something that was very cool to pick up because I am starting my wrestling game reviews here very soon. First one is going to be WrestleMania for NES. WrestleMania, the arcade game for PlayStation. Let me open it up here. Complete. What's funny about this is that this was released in 1994, I believe was the year that WrestleMania, the arcade game was first released. And there's a long box version of this game. But this was re-released in 1997 with the greatest hits and everything. So by the time that this game was released, only 3 people of the entire roster were still with the WWF. So I'm going to go into more detail with that when I review this. I don't know when I'm going to review it. Probably pretty soon, because this was one of the first PlayStation wrestling games. So I'll probably get to this, I don't know, in like a month or so. But stay tuned for that. This is a very interesting game, that's for sure. Alright, next up we have Medieval. Medieval was a game that I never owned, but it was on one of my demo discs, so I played it a ton. Case is broken, so that sucks, but it is complete, as you can see. I look forward to actually playing the full game now, because we played the demo a ton and we loved it, and it was a very unique game, kind of a 3D platforming game, from what I could tell. I was only able to play the first level, and the first level was more of a kind of an action game, or find the hidden thing. The chalice. The chalice was the big thing in this. The chalice. Where's the chalice at? So I look forward to playing this through. I will be keeping this. Hopefully getting a better case for it as well. But yeah, Medieval. Very cool. This was cool, but also very disappointing. Medieval 2. Unfortunately, I didn't check this beforehand. Does not have the game inside. That is the #1 rule. If you're buying games, make sure they're in the case. I spaced it. I think I was so excited and there were so many games, I just grabbed them all. I did check a few games and they were in the cases, so I was like, they're probably all in there then. This wasn't. But even still, at $1, getting the case and manual for Medieval 2 is definitely worth it. So I will probably be looking out for the game disc only for this. Then we have Tarzan, Disney's Tarzan, complete. You know, I just figured I'd pick it up. Whatever, it looks like a 2D side-scrolling platformer. But yeah, whatever. Then we have demo disc. This is a double demo disc of Spyro Ripto's Rage and Crash Team Racing. So, as I said, you know, demo discs are kind of PlayStation's thing. This is a very cool slipcase that unfolds, and on the back, it's actually advertising the multi-tap that you would need to play up to 4 players with these kinds of games. And then finally, another game. This was an amazing pile because almost all of these games connected with me in some form or fashion. And this is Gex 3, Deep Cover Gecko. I think Gex 2 was the big one for me, which was Deep Cover Gecko? No, this is Deep Cover Gecko. Enter the Gecko or something like that. Gex 2 Enter the Gecko or something. I think it's probably a play on The Matrix, maybe? But I don't know, I think it was out before that. I have no idea. Anyway, Gex 3 is a 3D platformer, and Gex was a very cool character. I don't know why he didn't really connect all that well. The first Gex was a 2D side-scroller. Gex 2 brought it to 3D, and Gex 3 kind of pushed it to 3D. But you see, it's got kind of the Bond girl on it, and she actually kind of looks like what's her name? Heather Graham? I think that's it. Maybe I'm mistaken. From Austin Powers 2. So this is cool. This also includes a demo of Legacy of Kain Soul Reaver, which is a game that I played a ton on demo disc, and Warzone 2100. So that's very cool. Very cool to get all those PlayStation games. But that was not it from that sale. Also for $1 each, I got a boxed copy of SimCity 3000 Unlimited. And I'm a huge SimCity fan. I don't know if I'll play this really, but it's just cool to have a boxed copy of SimCity. It's not super old or anything like that, but I thought I'd pick it up for $1. Hey. Alright, next up we have some Sega Genesis stuff. And these are all, mostly all Disney games. So we have Ariel and the Little Mermaid, or what is it? Ariel the Little Mermaid. Very interesting they called this Ariel the Little Mermaid. This was not the Capcom version. The Sega version was made by somebody different. The Capcom version of Little Mermaid is well renowned. I think it was their first Disney game that they made, that Capcom made, if I'm not mistaken. And a lot of people think it's a pretty solid game. I don't know about this game though, but it's cool, it's complete. And it's in the paper box, which you don't often see with Sega Genesis games. They had another Sega Genesis game that I did leave there. It was Barbie. I had no desire to have that. So next up we have The Jungle Book, and it does have the manual. There we go. the manual and the game in there. And wow, this price tag is charging $20 for it. Previously played $21.99 Sega Genesis game. I wonder when that was put on there. The back has a rip in it, so that kind of sucks. But still, in another video I explained my story about the Jungle Book. About when I was a kid, we went and I got to rent a video game, and they wouldn't let me play it that night, so I threw a fit, and they actually took it back to the store, so I never got to play it. But yeah, maybe I'll elaborate on that in a different video. But very interesting getting this, very weird getting this game, because it has that significance for it. Then we have The Lion King, which I played a lot as a kid at my cousin's house. They had a Sega Genesis and The Lion King, and we pretty much played that for a good amount of the time that I spent over there. A very tough game too, really tough. We never beat it, but it was fun. Another game that I had a lot of experience with, Aladdin. My babysitter had a Sega Genesis, and it was the same Sega Genesis that we rented the Jungle Book for. And one of the games she had was Aladdin, and I played this a ton. I like this game a lot too. These are really good games, actually. These Disney games that they came out with are really good. You don't get that anymore. They're pretty much all garbage, the movie games that get released these days. And finally we have Sonic Spinball, which I already have the case for, but now I have the actual game and manual and everything else for it. So I know that I don't think a lot of people like this game, but I love pinball, so I'm excited. Alright, we're getting down to the last couple things now, and I went up to Reading, and Reading's about 30 miles north for me, and I knew that there was this new store called Pluto's, and I decided to stop in there because they have a flat rate for their video games. They don't look up eBay, they just sell them for one price, and that's it. Now the price on those games, I found out, was a little steep. So I went in there, and they had like a bucket of GBA games that were all $5 each, and then they had a rack of just random games that didn't have their case, and those were all $2 each, and their NES games were $10 each, which is insane, because most of the time the games you're gonna have are not worth $10. They're worth $5 and under. So what I did the first time, I looked, and there was a couple of NES games that I wanted to get, but $10 each was just way too much for them. I could get them cheaper on eBay. So I did pick up a few other things though. So I did pick up Kirby and the Amazing Mirror. I love Kirby games, my son loves Kirby games, and I decided for $5 this was a heck of a deal. And actually my son is the one who spotted it in the bucket, so he's been playing this quite a bit, and he loves it, so he's like enamored with it. And that's really cool because Kirby was, outside of Mario, the first game I really connected with as a child. So I don't know if there's something with Kirby or not about kids playing it, but it's just, I don't know, it's really simple. It's cool being able to change into different powers. There's some strategy involved, so very cool. I also picked up Super Dodgeball from Atlas for $5. Yeah, Super Dodgeball is a very interesting game. I really need to put this in the Game Boy player and learn how to play this a lot better, because I absolutely suck at Super Dodgeball. But I love the art style of Super Dodgeball, so I had to pick that up. And then I was very excited to find this. It's the X-Files, and this is subtitled Resist or Serve. But a few months ago I went on this X-Files binge watch. because I'd seen episodes here or there as a kid, but I'd never seen all the episodes in order. So I went on that and I looked up the video games, and this is one of them. And this is like a $25 game, so it wasn't a game that I really wanted to go out and buy, but I did want to play it. And all these months later, I stopped the binge watching, but now that I have the game, I might pick that back up and continue on with it. But very cool to find this, even without the case. It's still pretty valuable, and for $2, it's a no-brainer. Very excited that I found that. So I got those 3 things, and I paid like $12 for them. And then I was like, well, let me go back and let me try to talk them down on the price on the NES games. So I went back and I saw this in there. I didn't pick it up at first for some reason, but Demi Kids Dark. And I didn't really know what it was. I used to work at GameStop, so I remember seeing this game all the time. And I asked around, and someone told me it was like a Shin Megami Tensei game. And so like Persona, but kind of like a kiddie version. And it was actually pretty fun. So I went back and I grabbed this for $5. And I went over back to their discs on their rack and picked up a few more things. I got NBA Jam Tournament Edition for PlayStation and Gundam Battle Assault 2 for PlayStation. I probably plan on getting rid of these as well, just for more budget fuel. And then, so the NES games, I asked him, is there any way possible that you would go down to $5 each on the NES game? Because if you go down to $5 each, I am willing to buy quite a few of them. And he's like, well, my wholesale for these games is terrible. In order to turn a profit, I have to sell them for $10 each. He said, I'd be willing to go $7.99 each if you buy 3 or 4 of them. So $8 each basically for the NES games, and that was still pretty steep, but I liked this guy quite a bit. And I went over and I looked. I said, if there's a game that I can at least sell off and, you know, get some of this money back, I'd be willing to do that. So I looked around and I found this. It's Puzznic. Now I already have Puzznic. So I bought it at $8 I plan on getting rid of it to just make a couple dollars back, but also give this guy, you know, $8 of my money to hopefully keep him in business. I know $8 is not going to keep someone in business, but I wanted to buy from this guy. He's a really good guy. He's a really nice guy. I think this is only worth like $11-12, so I'm not getting a huge return on this. That's fine, but I wanted to get something to add to the pile that I knew I would be turning around and selling to somebody for at least a little bit of money, so that I could justify paying as much as I did for these. So the first one is Star Tropics. I did not have Star Tropics yet, so it was very nice to get this. It's in really good shape. The front of the label's good. The only problem is there's a tiny nick right up there on the label. Not a big deal though. Excited to get this. I hear this is an okay game, but it's an RPG and I look forward to playing it, so that's cool. Next up we have Yonoid, so Capcom game, and the label's seen better days. It's kind of bubbled up a little bit. Top isn't great. So I'll get a label replacement for this down the line, but it was a game I didn't have. It was a game that's well regarded for the most part. It's a very interesting game since it's a Pizza Hut mascot. I think it's Pizza Hut. Yeah, Yonoid. And then the last one is a Capcom game that I was very excited to see. It's not worth a whole lot. In fact, it's worth about $8 that I paid for it, but I had to get it. I hate paying I hate paying market value for games, but Little Nemo, the Dream Master. Yeah, I love this cover right here. This cover art is just fantastic. And this is in really good shape as well. There's a little sticker here at the bottom from the previous owner, I'm guessing. This is from Costa Mesa, California. But otherwise, this cart is in really good shape. So I was very excited to get this. I won't need to get a label upgrade for this at all. So yeah. So all in all, from that store, I paid probably about $57 or so for all the games that I got. And to try to make some of that money back, I will be probably selling these 2 PlayStation games. That's probably all. And of course the Puznik to try to make some money back. But otherwise, I thought the store was very cool. I thought the guy was very cool running it. And I just hope that he's able to find a better wholesale so he can bring down those NES prices. Because I'm willing to pay $5 a piece for games that are worth a little more than $5 a piece. I hate paying right at market value, and I hate paying over market value, of course. Who likes to pay over market value for games? Anyway, so during my trip to Reading, I also got this. This was on sale for 50% off, so they were charging $25 for it. 50% off made it $12.50. It's the Texas Chainsaw Massacre Atari version from NECA. And so basically Leatherface is all green except for his head. And then on the back, you got kind of the figure posed against the Atari backdrop there. Now, I'm not an Atari guy at all, but I am a horror fan. So I like these video game variations of figures. Obviously, the Jason Voorhees would be the one I'd be most interested in. I've seen the Freddy around, but not in the cool boxes. I think he's just in like some plastic. And then I've seen a few other ones at Toys R Us, but this was 50% off, so I couldn't pass it up. So I'm gonna just keep it up on the shelf there. Anyway, that is all the stuff I got over the past month that I can remember, at least. And so it's been a pretty good month for finding games. Usually this is the time where you go out for yard sales, or you go out to thrift stores, estate sales, whatever it may be, and you find those games for cheap. Go look and find those games for cheap. When you find games for cheap, you buy games that you probably wouldn't normally buy. And when you buy games that you probably wouldn't normally buy, you're trying new things. It's great. Oh, I almost forgot about these. So this was very interesting. A pal of mine that used to live here in Red Bluff, he doesn't anymore, but he lives close. So he swung by and dropped these off to me and said I could have them. Unfortunately, he lost most of his collection he was keeping them in a storage shed, and the storage shed got broken into and looted, basically. So he lost a lot of his games. It was very sad. We'll probably never get them back, unfortunately, but what's cool is he decided that he was going to give me these boxes. So he gave me a box for a game I just got, Star Tropics. Boxes aren't in great shape. Some are. This one isn't. That's totally fine with me. I don't really care because just the fact that I can preserve this box now and it won't end up in the dump somewhere is awesome to me. I have a box. I need to find a way to display my NES boxes because they're on my shelf right now, just kind of stacked up. Dr. Mario, right here in this very nice yellow case. It's got the manual and everything. I have the manual for Dr. Mario, so not a big thing if it didn't have it. But this is very special because the first game I ever remember buying for the NES when I was a kid, and trust me, when this game came out, I was like 5, maybe 4, is Kirby's Adventure. And not that this is worth a ton of money. That's not the point on this. The point on this is that this cover, this case, this box means a ton to me because it's like a rush of nostalgia. I mean, this game, I loved this game so much as a kid. I played it so many times, over and over again, beat it over and over again. It was just the greatest, and I still love this game a lot. Kirby's Adventure, the blue box, Kirby kind of sucking the page off. Incredible. Thank you so much, Chris. Very, very much appreciated. Yeah, I don't want to get too, sentimental or whatever, but it's very cool to have that in my collection now. I have the game, of course. Now I have the box and everything, so that'll get displayed nicely. But okay, that is it. That is all. Anyway, this has been a long video, so thanks for sticking around and checking out what I got over the past month. And videos coming up, the figure reviews and unboxings that I showed earlier in the video. The WrestleMania for NES review is going to start a wave of wrestling video game reviews, and I'm going to go like NES, then Super Nintendo, then PlayStation, and so on and so forth, N64. That's how I'll review them to kind of break up the monotony. I thought about maybe reviewing them in chronological order, but I figured, nah, that's not a great way to do it. So that's the way I'm going to be doing it. But yeah, thanks for watching. Subscribe if you haven't already. Like the vid to share it around and all that good stuff. Until next time, I'm Lex. See you guys later.